Hey everybody, welcome back to the LWN Network, Liberty Warrior Nation 2. I am Tammy Nation, here tonight to have a great and wonderful conversation with all of you about many different things that I'm going to cover in a moment. It is February 17th, 2026. Welcome. We are rebooting and having technical issues, and so the producers are working on that. However, LW is in the background waiting for his computer to reboot and work so he can join us. But I do have the one and only Jeff B here with us as well tonight. You know what? We're going to go and see what kind of shit show we're living each and every day. And we're going to cover a few different things. The Epstein file fallout, there's been a lot of that coverage going on. A lot of regular folks like you and I have been digging into those nasty files. We've got what's going on with Hillary being in Munich and what's going on with the Dems joining Hillary in Munich, Germany. Not even settling on the SAVE Act, not even putting it in for a vote. We're going to cover that. That's another shit show. There's just everything out there. It seems like a shit show. So we're going to cover also some different things going on as far as the Potomac with the sewage draining into the Potomac. Where's all the outcry and outrage from all the environmentalists? This has been going on for weeks. The Dems leave, don't care. Environmentalists don't seem to care. And President Trump just put out a truth post on what is going on and what he wants done about that raw sewage. It is very dangerous, not just for the wildlife, but for the people that are there and all the people because of it being in the water. So we have all that and a whole bunch more. I hope that you guys are ready to have this great conversation. I hope that you put in your input in the chat. We love to hear from you guys. And Jeff B and I will be right back after this intro. Hopefully LW is going to be giddying up on his little horsey soon and joining us as well. We'll be right back. Hello. Are you there, Jeff B?
Yep, I'm here.
All righty. So we're still trying to get things worked out. Hopefully we don't get booted out as they reboot, but we're just going to start the show anyhow, right?
Yeah, what an epic part of the title is shit.
Yeah, it totally is. It's just, I thought it was a good title because of so much stuff going on out there, and it is like a shit show. So I don't know how you bring sanity or cleanliness to what's going on out there, but we're going to try our best tonight to try, because I know that I have a different view on it, on some things than you do, and that's A-okay, because you can help level me off, because I've about had it with everybody and everything. It's like I'm reaching my breaking point again.
Yeah, well, you'll probably break it, reset about 5 more times.
Yeah, I believe that one for sure. And I think it's pretty poignant too that there's millions of gallons of raw sewage dumping into the Potomac. It's been going on for weeks and nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, that is just disgusting. Tim Burchett, Rep Tim Burchett, who I love. He's my new go-to with information guy, because he seems like he's on the up and up, at least so far. But he was saying that it's been going on for weeks, and those Dems took off and joined, some of them anyhow, to join Hillary in Munich. And that the doo-doo is just running like crazy in the Potomac River. But Trump did come out and finally put something out and said that it was Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. who are responsible for that sewage spill. And he's saying, hey, if they can't do the job and get it done, to call me and I'll get it fixed. But they have to ask me politely. So I find it ironic that Trump has kind of pulled back the reins on fixing things for people and being aggressive. He's now saying, I will help you, but you have to ask me nicely.
Kind of reminds you of the movie A Few Good Men, when Jack Nicholson is sitting down in Guantanamo Bay, and the JAG officer asks for the transfer orders, and he says, "You have to ask me nicely." You know, it is. I mean, I didn't even hear about this sewage nonsense. I haven't been paying attention to that. I've been more focusing on this diatribe that Bibi Netanyahu's been on. All these, overseas prime ministers, MPs that are being arrested now that the news is not covering. And, there were 5, I think, I'll call them MPs, they're members of parliament inside Norway, were arrested 2 days ago.
Well, what is that? There's a lot that is going on that isn't being covered, and let's talk about this for a minute. But as a side note, maybe that's explaining why the Nancy Guthrie is taking over everything. It's like a firestorm. I mean, they found a glove, then they picked up a glove, then there was a box, then a camera, then there's all this going on. And I think that is a big bunch of pahookie too. That isn't even normal, but that is what is encompassing everything everywhere. And I was going to ask that tonight. Why is that such a big, main, huge story? Not all the different things that are going on about these sex trafficking rings they're finding, or what you said, worldly events that are happening with these people being arrested and stuff. It seems like over in Europe, a lot of people are actually stepping down and stuff as well as a backhand outlash from these Epstein files, their names being in it, and before any more can come of it, they're stepping down. But in the United States, not one person has faced anything. So it's just kind of a mind, out there again. And it's just over and over, and it's hard to know what to keep track of. So going back to Bibi, what do you think is going on with all that? When you're seeing this and it's not being covered, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, he comes to the United States a week early, and then they release the Epstein files, which I don't think a lot of people in Congress believe they were going to release, and not in the manner that they released them. And, like I had said on a couple of shows, when people were just bashing. Granted, I'm still on the fence with Pam Bondi. I think she's limited in what she can do right now. Because look, I said if the whole thing comes out, it's going to topple world governments, and we're seeing, people over in the UK who are members of the royal family that are getting booted out of their royal houses.
Yes.
And you have, Keir Starmer. He's under the knife now because he's in these files. It's almost like we're going to do a little bit of fast forward revisionist history where we're going to see the UK government go through a revolution. From our 1776, because the people over there are pissed off.
Well, we are too, but we aren't doing anything. Nothing's happening. When you talk about, and I know people are probably sick and tired of the Epstein files, but listen, it is a chain reaction of what is not happening, what we know now. How can you not be so outraged and disgusted? You've got the Dems actually shutting down government, not voting on the SAVE Act, to haul their asses to Munich to complain about what a mess our country is and hang out with Hillary. And nothing is getting done as far as the Epstein files either. Pam Bondi, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was in the Oversight Committee hearing. Mm-hmm. She made a complete idiot of herself. She said, too, there's no more Epstein files that they're going to release, but I do believe there's a few million more, aren't there?
Yes, there is.
She said that basically everything that needs to be seen and had has been out there. So if there's 3 million more records out there, why wouldn't they put those out as well? And also, when she was at that oversight hearing committee, she was asked about some things, and she said, why are we paying attention to this when we should be happy that the Dow reached 50,000? Okay, now who gives a rat's you know what about the Dow when we are worried about these kids and all the ugliness? I mean, how twisted and sick some of this information is. I had to pull away for a while. But she's even sitting there almost like it's like they're all covering for these pedophiles, and I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. When Cash and Dan went in there, and they said, they've seen it, they know it. Before they even went in, they said that people are going to pay the price. We're going to have transparency, and we're going to break down everything. Okay. Well, guess what? They didn't do that. They haven't done that. So my question to you is, after all this time and effort, what do you think is actually going on with this cover up?
Well, I'm not quite sure it's a cover up, as I think it's orchestrated. And the reason I say it's orchestrated is, they had her in front of Congress, whether they tried to make her look like a fool or if she made herself look like a fool. But I do know that once the files came out, there was a large tech intel operation that had commenced to trace what Congress people, what business leaders were making phone calls to people once they found out their name was in it. So I believe that with NSA, Space Force, and some of the other intelligence agencies, that they are basically connecting dots to who's being contacted and for what reason. I mean, look at Hilton hotels. I think it was either late last night or early today. The CEO and chairman stepped down because his name is all in that Epstein list. And I've been told he's on the run. And I think that's what you're going to start seeing, because I was told that there are a lot of private airplanes that are trying to leave the country. Not only this country, but other countries. And the full Epstein list isn't done yet. I believe this is just a phased array of documents that they really, and think about it. If you just release 3.5 million documents, who in the hell looked through all of those? I mean,
Yeah.
Really, sit and think 3.5 million pieces of paper. Look at a ream of paper is what, 150, 500? Look how much that is. That isn't even scratching the surface. And when Bibi came to the United States early, I knew there was something that was going to happen with Bibi coming so early and then leaving. And now you got Bibi basically declaring war on the American people in a tweet that he put out.
Yeah.
You have Bibi saying, we no longer need U.S. aid or military supplies.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and say LW's here in case you didn't know. Let's say hi to LW, and then we'll carry on this conversation. Yeah. So LW, how's it going there?
Way better. And I want to say real quick, thank you to our producers. Like, we had to reboot the computer, and Windows took everything over, and they've been working frantically for the last 25 minutes trying to get us back up and running. So thank you to the producers. So for those guys who buy coffees tonight, I'm gonna take all the money sent tonight for coffees and pay the producer, because they hopped in here tonight and killed it. So any coffees bought tonight, going to producer. And I want to say thank you to Rosemary, because she also sent us $100 She said it was for silver, but the silver's already been bought and paid for, and Tammy actually has received the silver. So I'm gonna throw the $100 toward the grill, the Z grill. So I think we're up to like $420 on the Z grill. So we're getting close to the Z grill goal, which was 750, which I don't even want to touch anything right now to pull that up because it's been a nightmare for the last 20 minutes watching the producers work and get everything back up and running. So good evening, Jeff B, and good evening to my great co-host and friend, Tammy the Hammer Nation. I love the conversation so far.
Oh, that's good that we've got your approval. We like that. So let's
always have my approval. Always have my approval.
He can make it rough if he doesn't approve, Jeff. No,
this is like when all my siblings come to the house for dinner. It doesn't matter. We all get along, but we all start poking and prodding each other just to see who the hell goes off first. It's always my youngest sister, which is classic.
I want to say this too. Thank you guys for all the prayers for my travels, my safe travels. I'm getting ready to head back to the East Coast here probably in about 2 weeks. But please keep Tammy and her family in your guys' prayers. I know she's not going to say it publicly, and I won't go into detail, but they can use all the prayers you guys can send her way. Please continue to pray for Tammy and her family because, I know what's going on behind the scenes, and she works hard to produce these shows too, and to get all the information out there. But she's also dealing with a lot of family stuff right now. So keep her in your prayers. My mom actually had to go to the ER. I saw the comment from, I think it was Deborah Shimko, and my mom had to go to the ER about 2 or 3 days ago. She's having back spasms, muscle spasms. And so she's been kind of down on that too. So keep my mom in your prayers. Appreciate it, guys. Just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and prayers to you too. So John H is saying they're running the AI against the files so they can be indexed and searched. That's an interesting thing to do. Yeah. That's awesome. But getting back to Bibi, so all right, so that's the thing that he came out and said. Yes, we had a 10-year agreement with him, and Lindsey Graham is there with him, or was just there with him, trying to say that if Bibi doesn't want to depend on us for military aid anymore, that's just great. I'm all for everybody supporting themselves, but let's speed it up so we don't drag out the next 10 years because I forget what it was that this first 10 years is up in 2 years. So Lindsey's trying to usher in our money to go to him really quick so we can just cut the ties or whatever. But my thing is Israel has had the most financial aid from us or money given to them from us more than anybody since World War II. So how is Bibi going to do without getting our money? It would be a wonderful thing. I think that's a good thing. But also, he's saying they have a great economy. It's going to reach $1 trillion soon. And he said their army has been built up. Those are the two things that are the sticking points to him saying, we don't need your aid. But I wonder if that also ties into Trump saying recently, everybody needs to start paying a little more to defend themselves. So with that, Jeff, if you can continue your thought, and what do you think about that?
Well, I wonder if this isn't the portion where it's save Israel for last, because about 6-7 hours ago, there was a statement put out by the Israeli government that Bibi has cancer.
Whoa, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and that the emir of the United Arab Emirates has had a stroke. So, when you look at this kind of stuff, is this the way that these major players are going to be removed for public consumption? Yeah. Well, I mean, here's something that you can definitely know that we're not being told the truth on something. And I was in a conversation about 2 or 3 weeks ago with the big chair prior to Ghislaine Maxwell going into this hearing through closed circuit TV, that it's not Maxwell. And I was like, what the hell do you mean it's not Maxwell? I wanted him to tell me as much as he could, because if you look at the thing that Benny Johnson just did, they took facial recognition of Giselle Maxwell sitting in this deposition where all she did was take the fifth. They took her face, and then they took the last known public face of Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not the same person. The chin is wrong. Her ears are wrong. So who the hell is sitting in jail? Because even if you pork up, because this lady that they brought in for Giselle Maxwell looks like she's put on about 50, 60 pounds.
Now, I did see that side by side.
Yeah, you don't gain 50 or 60 pounds in prison, do you, Jeff?
No. And your chin structure doesn't change and your ears don't lower. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, this is all, and I don't even think we've seen the crazy yet. I really don't think we've seen the crazy. And how you can always tell something big is about ready to happen is when Trump is quiet. And, he's not all over the place for the last, seems like it's been a week or two. Trump's been pretty quiet in comparison to what he has been.
Mm-hmm. He's mellowed out a lot. The only thing he said about the Epstein files that I've seen was him saying that, there's names in there and people, it is what it is. And other than him protecting Clinton, or not protecting, but not liking that they were going after Clinton, I didn't like that statement. But with him, sometimes you got to dig beneath the surface with what he means. It's like he doesn't just not straight shooter all the time. So it also, came out that in 2006 it was that he called the police on Maxwell and Epstein and had the cops look at him. So he exonerated him pretty much. And boy, Hillary Clinton doesn't like that, because she's over there in Munich just on that panel, and she was getting in disagreements with the panel members about her attitude and what she had to say about Trump. They weren't buying it. And I don't get what Hillary's even doing there. What authority does she have to be doing that with the world? Go ahead.
Well, look, AOC's over there. Did you see that buffoon?
Horse teeth is over there.
She was on this panel, and she couldn't come up with a rational thought. And I'm like, and to me, I'm like, hold on. Why are these congressional members over there at this forum when we have House business for the SAVE Act? And don't get it misconstrued with this SAVE Act. There are some Democrats that are saying, well, I'm on board with the SAVE Act, but you have them not signing off on it because they don't have a problem with Thune's message of you're going to have to show ID. They don't like the part that you have to show citizenship to be a registered voter. Now, here's my question, to the audience is, I had told people the only way that I believe we can resolve this is you have to clear the voter rolls. Everyone would have to re-register to vote. So why are you talking about showing proof of citizenship because you're not going to go to the polling place that day, or you would never get through the polling place. So something has to happen if this SAVE Act is passed, which I'm not really too sure it's going to pass. And that's why Trump has this national emergency order sitting on his desk ready to execute. Because if they don't pass the SAVE Act, then he has to step in. And because I've been told we're all going to have to re-register to vote. And there may not be.
I told you that last week or week before, Jeff, that they've already sent me documentation that's asking me to re-register in my hometown. Now, is that a normal thing? I think it very well could be a normal thing, but I believe that they're going to ask everybody to re-register, no matter who it is. So even if this was a normal procedure that happens often, I would think that I agree with you. I would think that they're going to ask everyone to re-register, and I think they should, and they should require ID to register. Like you should have to prove who you are, and if you're a U.S. citizen and where you live and all the things. Like I think that would be amazing if we accomplished that before the midterms.
Well, I think that we would have to do that. Something has to be done because so many people don't even want to vote. And these stupid congressmen and stuff and Senate members, they have to show their ID before they can even put in a vote against the SAVE Act or not. They all have to show ID for that. Like there's so much you have to show ID for. So it's ridiculous. But Schumer said, and he made it clear, he said that he is going to fight this because he thinks that it is a tool of voter suppression that's going to harm the poor Americans and minority groups.
And the black people, right?
And the minority groups.
Yeah, black America is too dumb, and I mean this with the utmost respect.
Correct.
I'm not saying this, but they consider black America too dumb to be able to go down and get even an ID card. Even if you couldn't get a driver's license for whatever reason, there's several different reasons why you wouldn't be able to get a driver's license. You're too dumb to even go down there and get an ID card so that you can vote. I think that's, if you want to talk about racist and you want to talk about suppression, he spits it out all the time. And I think, I've been seeing a lot of things for the last couple of weeks. Americans are getting fed up with everything that's going on. They are getting so fed up with all the bullshit. I'm talking to people, blue collar people out here, and they are so fed up with all the bullshit in Washington. I honestly think that there's one of two things that's going to go on. I think there's going to be a reset, and that they're going to have to drain the swamp immediately, or I still believe that they're pushing all of us into the center to where we all have kinetic energy toward one another, meaning civil war. I still believe they're pushing us to that point. And I'm telling you guys, I traveled all over the East Coast, and then I came home and traveled some more. Like I'm getting to where I'm back to traveling a lot. And people are absolutely sick to their stomach, fed up with the federal government. They're fed up with the right side. They're fed up with the left side. They're fed up with all the shit. And it's getting to a boiling point. Let's just put it that way.
Right. And, with that letter in the alphabet said, these people are not going to be able to walk down the street. And you have Democratic.
I believe on the left and the right.
Oh,
I believe on the left and the right. It is getting so. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's getting so horrible with the corruption,
right?
That I don't think either party is going to be able to walk down the street in their own districts and hometowns without people coming up to them and saying, "What the f?
Right?
We're tired of your shit. We're tired of the way you vote. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of the manipulation. And we're going to, I believe the American people are at a boiling point where they're going to force change. And I mean, not in a way of the voting ballots. I'm talking about the people I'm talking to. They're ready to force change. And I'm talking 1776.
Well, and what I think the trigger is going to be with all of this, you know, right after 9/11, what united the country was foreign actors allegedly attacking the country. What I think at this moment, what's going to unite this country and put all the bitter politics for 90% of the Americans is once it is fully shown that these assholes and pedophiles were perverting children. That's going to be the breaking point. And that's where, and my opinion is, I think they're going to do a test run of this in the UK, kind of like a reverse 1776. We're going to let the Brits.
Is that kind of like reverse grifting, Jeff?
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to let the Brits possibly kick this off because, you know, just with Starmer. I mean, right after this Epstein, once his name was confirmed in there, he come out and told the British populace that we are going to implement Islamic law inside the UK. I mean,
them poor British bastards. That's all I can say.
Well, right. And where is the crown at? Where is King Charles at?
Oh shit, they've been gone for a long time, Jeff.
Right. Well, you know, this is why I think they're doing a reverse 1776 on Britain, because now you have this guy, Rupert Lowe, I think is his name, over in the UK. He's like the UK version of Donald Trump, and he basically called out the king, saying, "Hey, buddy, what's happening to this empire? Because you now have a prime minister sitting at 10 Downing Street saying we're going to implement Islamic law. Are you nuts?" I mean, could you imagine, Mike, your governor coming out and telling the people of Idaho we're going to implement Islamic law in the state of Idaho?
That'd be the last day. That'd be the last day he was in office, and I hope, even if it was a president in the United States, any jackass that comes out and says something that ridiculous and that stupid, I hope is their last day in office. And I don't mean that in a way that they are eliminated kinetically. Right. I'm saying they should be impeached immediately, and the A2s and all Americans should stand up and say, "Fuck you. We're not doing this shit. You're out." Like, right. I'm telling you, if that happened tomorrow, you would see me on the steps of the Idaho Capitol screaming at the top of my lungs, remove this guy, and getting every person that would hear me with a megaphone saying, we need to remove this. Like, I couldn't even imagine that in this world. But here's the scary thought, is you're correct, Jeff. It's not just happening in the UK, but think about Texas. Think about Michigan and Minnesota,
mm-hmm.
and where else, Tammy?
New York.
Like this shit is coming to your doorstep.
Yeah,
well,
and it's real. It's reality.
Well, and what I think this is, I mean, if it would happen in Idaho, you'd see Bo, Luke, and Jesse Duke coming down from the mountains.
Fucking right.
Yeah, and these people cannot be this stupid. Because don't get it wrong, these people are intelligent. That's how it's almost like, damn, this has to be orchestrated. Because they cannot be this stupid to come out and publicly say this shit, because they know that the populace doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to have nothing to do with this. And look, over in Saudi Arabia, I was listening to news out of Bahrain, and they were talking about how in Saudi there are, get this, 17 missing princes after this last batch come out that can't be accounted for. We mean they can't be accounted for. They have guards from the House of Saud. So
how do they disappear?
They're just gone. And then you have Barack Obama coming out 2 days ago and saying, "Oh, hey, by the way, guess what, people? Aliens are real."
Yeah, you stole that right out of my mouth, Jeff, because that was my whole thing. Is that going to be that's my guess. That's going to be the next big distraction, because we keep having it right now. This Epstein's exploded, and Barack,
hold on a second, Tammy. Hold on. Producer was just showing me something off stage, and like everything's down right now. Like we're talking flatline. YouTube, Google, Roku, Amazon, like everything's flatline. When some of the people were saying what's going on with YouTube channels and stuff like that, it's just absolutely flatline. Their producer's going to show it on screen here in a minute. But let me ask a question on Jeff's topic. I want to ask the audience tonight, anybody who's watching live or you're watching the replay or whatever, would you accept Sharia law? If you're, I like Jeff's question. If you're governor, if you're mayor of your town, or even the president of the United States came out and said, we're going to allow Sharia law nationally or statewide or in your county, would you accept it? Because I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't no way in hell. This cowboy, I won't accept it. I'm not saying that they wouldn't try it. I wouldn't accept it. So there it is. They're showing, producers are showing the flat lines of every streaming platform out there at this time. It's just flat line.
What is going on?
Well, I mean, if I'm putting my conspiracy hat on,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Mark
Levin. Just so you guys know, that's Mark Levin. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mark Levin. Yeah.
I think we are going to be closely towards what they call the 10 days of darkness. And look, I mean, we've been talking about this moment for 6-7 years. Our detractors called us nuts. You know, nobody wanted. I mean, I know you did. I know Travis did. There was a few other streamers who actually wanted to have conversations with people. But I think because as I'm reading through this Epstein craziness, okay, if you'd have told me a week ago, and I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but Jeffrey Epstein was financing LifeTouch.
Oh, that came out. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Explain what that is. Yeah.
Okay. So LifeTouch is what has been used, even when I was in middle school, for school pictures.
Oh, shit. Tammy was just... Tammy and one of my family members, very close to me, was saying this the other day, Jeff. And I looked at her and I was like, come on, man. Are you serious? So please, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say, Tammy said something about this, and somebody very close to me in my family has also said this. And at first I was kind of like, come on, man. So explain further, Jeff B., about LifeTouch and what LifeTouch is, because some people don't know what LifeTouch is, especially if their kids have been out of the house for, say, 10, 15, 20 years. They might not remember what LifeTouch is.
Okay, so when you graduate high school, you know, they put together...
it's just not just high school, dude. This shit starts in this starts at kindergarten.
Correct.
This starts at the beginning of your school education.
Correct.
LifeTouch starts.
So when they take school pictures, And as you get into high school, they start putting together alma mater of everybody in your school from 9 through 12.
God, this is sick.
Okay. And what they were doing is they were cataloging pictures of all these kids. So,
oh, God, help us. I'd shoot these sons of bitches right between the eyes with my gun. Every one of these sons of bitches.
And the way it was put in to the Epstein files is it was being used as a restaurant catalog, a restaurant menu.
Yep.
And that's, if you can remember, for some of the older audience, when you would have school lunches, they'd have the milk cartons with the missing people on.
Yep.
They did.
Okay?
Yes, they did.
So now Epstein was funding all of this. And, this is part of what I believe is going to be another phase, because now there are counties inside of Texas that are no longer going to allow schools to do school pictures.
Okay, let me stop you there, Jeff. Let me stop you because I want to ask the audience a question tonight. And I don't care if you're live with us tonight or if you're watching this later on a replay, drop us a comment. As a parent, as a grandparent, it does not matter. What would you do if you found this menu, if it just came across the internet or somebody handed it to you or whatever? Let's say it just magically appeared to you, and on that menu, you saw a picture of either your child or your grandchild. What would you do? That's my question. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I'd lose my shit.
Yeah.
And there are going to
I would go further than that, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean there are going to be people. This is why when everybody was screaming about the Epstein files, and I kept telling people, you probably really don't want to know what the hell's in the Epstein files, because it's not just names and victims. It's this whole big orchestration of how these demonic, fucked up people were being funded and supported. I mean, look, you have just today, they did a raid inside the United States that arrested, I think it was 24 people that were involved with an Antifa cell inside the United States that has been funded by foreign governments. And if you look at them, out of all of these people, and it comes to where this whole transgender thing is a mental illness, 6 of these 14, I believe, were all transgender. And so what they've done is they've used these online gaming chat systems to basically recruit. I mean,
you're talking about You're talking about roadblocks.
Not just roadblocks.
I know, but that's like a big part of it.
Correct.
Roadblocks. If your child is playing roadblocks, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, Al Qaeda has been doing this, for probably 2 decades, doing their recruitment through these gaming platforms. And I mean, it's just mind-boggling on the stuff. I mean, we're
behind, way behind. What's troubling, and I agree with you, Jeff, and I can hear it in the sound of your voice, is the frustration of how long it's gone on, how many people have been harmed. And I'm going to agree with you, because Jeffrey Epstein was a very intelligent person. They think that he was just like some sleaze bad guy doing all this bad things. He was very, very brilliant. I just read in part of those files, he had, and it was in an email with a photographer, he had a nursery of some stuff called scopolamine. It's SCOPOLAMINE. It comes
Yes,
from
scopolamine.
angel trumpet plants that grow in the wild. He had a nursery. It's a powerful psych drug. It eliminates your free will. In minutes it works, and it doesn't show up on any kind of toxology reports, and it can last up to 8 hours in your body. So that is why people have trauma but can't remember and recall what the heck the trauma is.
Hey,
EDC Doc P's comment. Remember
yes,
the show. I can't remember. It was a movie or a documentary or Cuties on Netflix. You guys remember this shit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I remember
that. Yeah, that Doc P brought that up. And listen, this shit goes so deep. Yesterday, I had a family outing. We went to the gun range, and I have some very wonderful tools. Let's just put it that way. And I was shooting center mass. My group was like that, and I won't say how many yards away, but I'm going to say my center mass was pretty tight. And that's probably the finishing move after I got my bare hands on somebody, that if I found pictures of my child on that menu, one of the comments I put up on there said it would make Sons of Anarchy seem very tamed. And I'm right there with you. Like, I can't even say on air the horrific things I would do to that person if I found any of that shit about my kids on that thing. Like it brings so this evil, I believe, brings out some of the worst in us, because we see the evil, and if it touches you that close to home, you become evil too, because you want to just destroy that, right? That's how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel.
Right.
And I feel so evil thinking about what I would do to those people. But okay, so here's my next question to chat, because I'm going to tell you what my choice would be. Are you the type of person that would want justice with your own hand? Are you the type of person that would trust that God would have his own vengeance on people like that? Because I'll be straight honest with you. I'm the type of person that I would have to have that justice with my own hands. That's just who I am. That's how I am. And I don't know who else out there feels the same way I do, or if you would just say, nope, I'm going to call the authorities. I'm going to let God deal with it. But I can't.
Right. Well, I'm right there with you, Mike, because look at our judicial system. It's a shambles. And, and some people thought I was crazy when I was saying this as early as last week. If this whole Epstein stuff comes out, it's going to collapse world governments. As it should.
Well,
yes,
Pam
but it has to be a systematic takedown, though, because the last thing, whether you like Donald Trump or not, I personally believe he's the type of person that doesn't want to inflict damage to not only our country, but to world governments. But this all has to come out so damn slow, or people's faces are going to melt. And
okay, I want to let Tammy go next, but I have to respond to what you're saying, Jeff, respectfully. A lot of people that I've been talking to and the things that I've been saying out there, pardon my French, everybody, plug your ears. They don't give a fuck about the collapse of any government, even including our own government. They don't care. They want people brought to justice. They don't care if it collapses Israel. They don't care if it collapses the UK. They don't care if it collapses America. They're sick and frickin' tired of excuses and shit not being dealt with and accountability. They're sick and tired of people not paying the consequences for their decisions and their actions. They're sick of it. And I'm telling you, man, people are getting to a point where they're ready to take things into their own hands.
Yes.
Because Jeffrey Epstein files are waking a lot of people up.
Yes.
Tammy, go ahead.
Well, to tie into what Jeff was saying, Pam Bondi, when she was in that oversight committee hearing, she said it would topple the government and, basically.
And nobody cares, Tammy.
Right.
Nobody cares. Like, they want to topple the government. If that's what it takes to take this shit down, that's what the American people want, and that's what the global patriots want. They don't give a shit about taking and toppling governments. That's what we need.
And that's my point, that she is the representative heading this up. And that's what she had to say. When people wanted to hear her say that they're diligently investigating and going to prosecute any one of those pedophiles running around, that even if she's affiliated with them, and basically that's what everybody wants. Yes, and that's why we hired Trump. That's why we elected him in, is to drain the swamp. They have everything in their hands to be able to drain the swamp. Don't tell me you can't prosecute and get these people for what you have in the Epstein piles. You can, because how many people got arrested for far less, including Trump and his people, for nothing?
Yes.
They can arrest these people. They aren't doing it. Why aren't they doing it? And I agree with you, LW, when you say Trump doesn't want all that. He wants it the best way possible, solved with the least amount of pain. But I would rather have, and I said this before, have empty seats than these crooked sons of bitches spending all this money in Munich and everywhere else, shutting the government. Now, they haven't been taking care of our business for the whole year. They've done squat, passed the big, beautiful bill, but who knows what all was in even that we made a compromise for. So I'm saying Trump is doing the best he can, but I'm for him signing all the EOs, or I trust the military and Trump to handle this way over any of these people sitting in these congressional or Senate seats, period, or judges. I don't even trust the judges. So take it all down. What have we got to lose?
Yeah. I apologize for my language tonight, folks. I really do, but I'm so emotional about talking about the children and these sick individuals and all the corruption. I apologize for the language, but I can't help it. Jeff B., here's the question. When Donald Trump came out years ago and said, we got it all, what do you think he means at this point? We got it all.
I think he's got it all. Everything. And I believe that, and this is kind of going to address what Doc P said when he was talking about Sean Ryan. If people don't know, Sean Ryan was with SEAL Team 1. Yep. And
he's a badass.
He put out a statement about what we're talking about right now. And, I'm a part of two different, I guess you can call them fraternities per se. One's in the intelligence group and one's in the SF community. And there has been letters that have been sent to the Speaker of the House and to the President and to the Vice President on guys who are retired in the intelligence community and guys who are retired in the SF community that have asked the President, we want to help. Let us help. Because Sean Ryan put it out there. And I was at, and he, if you think you're pissed, Mike, he was way, way pissed because he basically come out and said, I don't give a fuck, Pam Bondi. Mm-hmm. Okay. These guys.
I respect Sean Ryan. And I respect Tucker Carlson too, because they both have gone to bat on this, all these issues. And I'm telling you guys, like, I love you, Jeff. I love you, Tammy. I love everybody out there. But in the last 4 or 5 weeks of my life, recently, just the last 4 or 5 weeks of my life. I have traveled so much. I've talked to so many different people. I've talked to blue collar. I've talked to Republican. I've talked to conservative. I've talked to liberals. I've talked to Democrats. I've talked to so many people. They are fed the fuck up. And they don't care if this takes down governments. They don't care if this takes down our government. Like, they want justice. There are so many people that want pitchforks and frickin' pitchforks and frickin' fires, whatever the fuck you call
torches,
them.
Those torches.
Torches. Thank you. Pitchforks and torches. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
But that's what they want. They want this shit to collapse. They want it to all come down. They want the corruption to be revealed, but not just revealed. They want some form of justice.
Exactly.
And I'm not okay with just the little pat justice. I want the shit to come to the ground. I want it to burn to the ground. We did an episode years ago called Burn It to the Ground because I was being censored so damn bad on YouTube that I went out every night. I used every word that we were told we couldn't use. And yeah, I got censored. I got taken down. It cost me a lot. It cost me the big channel for 2 effing years because I got sick of this shit. And I'm in the same camp with Sean Ryan. I would go to battle with him. I'd go to battle with any of these guys that said, you know what? Let us help. Let us help take this down. Sign me the fuck up. I am ready. I've been target practicing. I'm not military anything. I'm a patriot. And I would shed my blood this country.
Yeah, it's a rough subject. And, you know, this is the balance that I believe Trump, J.D. Vance, and the Speaker of the House have to negotiate. Because they know, don't think that they don't. They know people are fed up. They
better freaking know, Jeff.
Well,
it's getting to a point where it's so blatantly obvious,
right? And
there's only 2 options.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question, Jeff. There's only 2 options at this point. We are at a juncture in this country where you either turn a blind eye and you are complicit. You are complicit and part of the problem, or it's time to pony the fuck up and make hard choices and get shit done. That's where we're at in America today.
Well, and I agree with you. And I put this at the feet of Donald Trump because I have said it once. I've said it a dozen times. The President of the United States, all he has to do, and I believe he's already done it, and I've been on the record numerous times saying it. All he has to do is invoke the Insurrection Act. Once the Insurrection Act is invoked, his hands are clean. It goes to the military. I believe it's already been done. And did you, not to get off topic, but I've been thinking about this. Because I don't know if you guys heard the story that just because I talked to the big chair about this as soon as I heard a rumor of this because I didn't even believe it myself. Did you guys hear the story about Barack Obama and the Secret Service agents in Colombia?
No.
He set this all fucking up.
What?
Yes. So you remember when the Secret Service agents were down in Colombia and they all were fired because they have Colombian
prostitutes and all the stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I had heard from one person that we all know had called me and said, "Hey, can you find out if this is true? Because I just read it." And so I sent a text over to the big chair and saying, "Hey, do you know anything about this?" And he goes, Now you know why Dan Bongino is so pissed. So, the Secret Service was down doing a pre-team down in Colombia. And one of Barack Obama's aides had set up these Secret Service agents on a false premise. And I haven't found out why they had to do this. But they set these Secret Service agents up. They had nothing to do with prostitutes. I want to make this abundantly clear. They did not do anything with prostitutes. They got the news media to run a story that the pre-team for Obama had a night out on the town, got drunk, obliterated, and were messing with prostitutes in Colombia. It was all a fabricated story done by the Obama White House.
Jesus.
To get rid of some Secret Service agents.
They won't stop at anything. That's sick.
So I asked the big chair, I said, well, what's the director of the Secret Service going to do about this? And he said, well, they were all terminated. They all lost their furs. They all lost their benefits. Who knows what divorces, suicides, because these agents know that they didn't do anything. And I've told people that out of all the law enforcement agencies, the Secret Service is probably the cut above the rest. They're probably top tier when it comes to federal law enforcement because of what their responsibilities are. And so now I asked the big chair, I said, hey, what the hell is your boss going to do? Was this taken to him? And he said, yes, it was taken to him by the director of the Secret Service. I said, how long have they known about this? And are these guys going to be compensated? So this is infiltration. Now I'm really beginning to think, was the attempt on Donald Trump an inside job with the Secret Service, or what I think was this all a staged event to expose certain individuals within the U.S. Secret Service?
Could be. All I know is hearing that story is horrid, but there's so many millions of stories. How on God's green earth here are we ever going to get people justice?
Right.
Other than collapsing everything and starting over and trying to do, instead of giving money to foreign countries for these bullshit NGOs and everything, give them some kind of monetary compensation. And I mean for a house, for a car, for what they put up with to get their lives back in order again. Because there are so many different abuses and stuff, and to do that to Secret Service and people that are in our government that are there to protect us against foreign people and everything else, adversaries.
That's a laugh, Jeff. Or Tammy, that's a laugh. To protect us, that's a good one.
Well,
they're supposed to.
Well, and so I asked the big chair, I said, so is this when Bongino threatened to quit? And I told people that I know that there was an Oval Office meeting between Bongino, Bondi, the big chair, and Kash Patel. And Bongino had told the president in no uncertain terms, I won't be involved in a fucking cover-up, because I think he was told or was read on that Obama, because you got to remember, he was part of the Secret Service detail for Obama.
Yeah.
These guys that were set up were guys that he worked with.
Wow.
That their lives were absolutely fucking destroyed.
Well, that's why he probably was the way he was on his show. But then he goes in.
I'm telling you, Bongino was at a point where his hands were tied.
Yes.
He was compromised. Like he either had to go one way, which was evil as fuck,
Yep.
or he had to go the other way. He chose the other way. He chose to step the hell out.
The honorable way.
The honorable way. I have the utmost respect for Dan Bongino. One of the comments was, "How could we ever trust our government again?" We can't. You never shall. Let me make this comment real quick, and then I want to get back to Jeff B. I know he's got more he wants to say, but Thomas Jefferson said this, and I think that this is where we are. This is the point in America where we are today. Thomas Jefferson wrote the phrase, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." And I believe that is the season that we are in today, folks. That is my own perspective and my own belief. But I believe that there has got to be blood for the children, and it's going to take blood of patriots to make that happen. And tyrants are going to feel that fucking pain. And I believe that.
And I want to clear something up for the audience, because I see a lot of comments about this. Dan Bongino is in the Epstein files. And let me explain to people how these names come up. If a person is mentioned, it doesn't mean that they went to the island.
Right.
Because Donald Trump's in there, I when I did a Boolean search, it was like 4,000 sometimes his name was mentioned.
It was a lot.
Anytime somebody's name is mentioned, whether if Obama went to Epstein Island and Dan Bongino was on the Secret Service detail, his name comes. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean that they're guilty of anything. There may be, Pritzker, his name's on there. He may have not had anything nefarious, but he may have funded something. His name's going to be on that list. So I want to make sure people understand that. And look, I'm the first person. If Donald Trump went to that island and did something that I seen Prince Andrew or Bill Clinton,
hang him high.
Yep. Hey, bring him out.
Well, Hillary came out and was asked about Bill and Epstein, and she said, and she laughed, and it was about the picture of Bill in the hot tub with the underage.
Correct.
Okay. You know what she did? She laughed and said he was doing philanthropy work and he saved hundreds of lives or whatever. And now this girl's face, mind you, was blacked out. Being blacked out means either you're underage and or you're a sex trafficked child. That's sex trafficked lady. That's why the face was blacked out there. And all she had to do was laugh. And she also denied ever meeting Epstein. She said, I can't remember ever meeting him, but I did meet Ghislaine a few times. Now, this is a woman who wrote all kinds of biographies and stuff, wasn't it? So she can remember all these details, but nothing about remembering meeting Epstein. And she just came out through Munich and lately talking about that, and she laughed it off. And you don't know, seeing her do that, it just infuriated me. My blood boiled, and I thought, lady, she's got to pay the price. This is like ridiculous. She's flat out lying still to this day. But once you're evil, you're always evil, I guess, when you're in that deep.
Right. And, just to go to that comment that I believe it was Charlene had made about Bongino, you are correct. But let me throw this at you. And this is how my mind works. This is how I was trained at Fort Huachuca, at Pensacola, and in California at DLI. I think people all can agree, even though we don't have hard proof of it, that Donald Trump was approached or asked by the military years ago that if a time comes and your country calls upon you to right this wrong steering ship, would you be willing to help us? Okay. Hence the 2016. You have to have other players involved to help that single person. I believe that because there are people that I have worked with in the past that had taken certain jobs in the intelligence community, not saying that they weren't qualified for, but they had no business getting these jobs. And when they got these jobs, they disappeared. You have to have, you can view Trump as the quarterback, but you have to have the rest of the team to fill that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a lot of these big players like Bongino, he knows a lot more than he's letting on.
Well, he signed an NDA. He can't talk
Oh,
about
absolutely. Hell, I have a 70-year NDA. I will be 132 years old when I can talk about any of the operations or any of the intelligence gathering that
let's sit down when you hit that. Let's sit down.
Let's all sit down. We'll have the volume up real loud.
I want exclusive rights to that.
But you have to imagine that anything right now is possible. And I'd put out this theory. I haven't been told this. I'm just thinking of the mindset of what possibly, look, we're 1 week away from the State of the Union. Trump speaks next week. There are a lot of hot button topics
Mm-hmm.
that he could be going on. And I think this is one of the reasons why the big chair, Trump, a lot of these guys are quiet right now. I could see a scenario to where Trump does the State of the Union and possibly they wheel out Jeffrey Epstein.
That'd be cool.
And the Speaker of the House asked the House
pants all over the stage.
Well, no, I think the Speaker of the House knows. I think the Speaker of the House knows a lot more, just because the Speaker of the House, honestly, he should have been done when he was meeting with Trump down in Mar-a-Lago before he became president-elect, because it violates the Hatch Act, along with them meeting with Viktor Orban from Hungary. It violated the Hatch Act. And I had said that when all this was going on, if Congress really wanted to damage these people, why don't they bring them in front of Congress under the Hatch Act? But no one ever mentioned it on the House floor. So I could see a scenario where the Speaker of the House would ask the House Master at Arms to seal the doors. Because you remember in that letter in the alphabet, it said the first arrest would shock the world. Now, okay, and everybody thought it was Trump. That didn't shock me because they wanted to get rid of him so bad.
Yeah.
People say, Barack Obama. That wouldn't shock me either. You're part of the Muslim Brotherhood. But is the arrest that shocks the world, does it have to be a single person? The State of the Union is a worldwide broadcast. Wouldn't that be something if the House Master at Arms and the Joint Chiefs of Staff basically arrest everybody on national TV?
That would be amazing.
That's just a theory. I have nothing, but that's where my mind goes with this, because that would be the biggest way to break this shit to the American people, because it wouldn't lay on the doorstep of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I can't hold my breath on that one, Jeff.
No.
I waited for that. I waited for that exact thing to happen on 2020 when Joe Biden was inaugurated. I was told that they were going to come in and swoop them all up and arrest them all, and it never freaking happened. So I can't I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't give any.
Well,
any
yeah. I mean, I look. I won't be shocked if it happens, and I won't be shocked if it doesn't happen. But I guarantee you that is going to be one.
I'd be shocked if it happens. I'd be shocked. Probably piss my pants and laugh.
When I say I wouldn't be shocked, because I look for it to happen. But I'm also not going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen, because I believe there's a certain other checkbox that have to be done. And with this stuff coming out, because at the end of the 17th letter in the alphabet talks about save Israel for last. Well, look what it be. Look, I thought it was a joke when Bibi come out and basically declared war on America.
I used to, it was like a flip because he was just
Right.
here. So
Right.
what the hell was that all about?
What happened?
It just
Right.
made no
And when
sense.
he came early, I had said on one of the shows I was on that, he was summoned early. I have a feeling they're about ready to drop something that's going to implicate Israel. And boy, did the Epstein files with her dad implicate it.
Well, this is another thing that I learned that made me even more frustrated, that there's a clause called the speech and debate clause, which I didn't know about.
Yeah.
It says you can't be sued for anything you say on the
Right.
House floor. So any one person could come out and tell us everything we need to know, or just try to settle us down, make us feel better, show us anything, and none of them would do it. But what they're doing is these senators and congressmen are going all over social media platforms and doing interviews saying, oh, we saw the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files. We just can't believe how bad they are. And you guys wouldn't be able to deal with this, blah, 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 blah. So that's what they're doing instead of
Right.
going on the House floor, sharing with us
Well, you're right, Tammy. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene, why didn't you do it?
Exactly. I agree.
You knew the names were there. Look, the House Intelligence Oversight Committee, I guarantee you, they know every person's name. The lady, that Jayapal, who was just ripping into Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi looked like a deer in headlights. And I told people, don't look at Pam Bondi. Look at the aides behind her. Look at the expression on her face. And son of a bitch, when she released this last batch, or the DOJ did, guess whose name was in there for receiving money from Epstein? Wait, you weren't even in Congress then. So why were you receiving money from? Oh, wait, maybe an attempted coup of the United States government? So now she shut the hell up because she didn't want her name out there.
Right.
The whole squad's on there.
Everybody who's not.
Hey, Mama Poff is in here. I'm so glad she wasn't in here earlier.
Yeah,
Mama,
I'm glad she wasn't in here earlier when I was using that language, because I'm going to see her.
Yeah,
I'm going to see her tomorrow. She'd wash my mouth out with soap.
Oh,
So
you need to get the switch out, because if you listen to the playback, you're going to want to spank him like he was 10 years old.
Don't listen to the playback.
Yeah,
Don't listen to the playback.
You may want to just listen from this point forward. It got pretty salty.
Hey,
I'll be on my best behavior.
Well, the other thing that was the big wrench in this that really gave me a problem was Bannon, about being this interview that he did that was supposedly for a documentary, right, that never got released. Well, people are like, yeah, that's what it was. No big deal. But yet there was money tied to this through China and everything else. And I talked about the War Games video game that it was tied to. But Bannon came out and actually said that the text that he had with him and Epstein, he said he vows that the film and all that will destroy the myths of the notorious predator. So he's like doubling down on him trying to save his reputation, Epstein's reputation. And this is throwing me for a big loop. It makes no sense to me, but there's a lot of people that were never on his side or whatever. But Bannon said, I'm a filmmaker and a TV host with decades of experience interviewing controversial figures. He said that's the only lens through which these private communications should be viewed. A documentary filmmaker working over a period of time to secure 50 hours of interviews from a reclusive subject. I don't know that satisfies me.
Well, and with some of the, the comments about Pam Bondi, right? I think we all remember, and we've talked about this numerous times, where, the security detail for Nancy Pelosi told her not to answer any questions, right?
Yep.
Well, flip that scenario to Pam Bondi, okay? If Pam Bondi was dirty, okay, and I'll say was, I can neither confirm nor deny, what if she was approached by the Judge Advocate General Court to say, this is going to be part of your sentence. You're going to play this out. We're going to tell you what to do, when to do, how to do it. And at the end of all of this, the panel of 7 Judge Advocate General judges may weigh this in sentencing. I'm not saying that I know this for a fact, but I can see that scenario.
Do you know how complicated and precise that kind of thing, though, has to be?
Yes.
To make it work and not get out, Jeff, when we can't even freaking keep the government open for a vote on something that's common sense?
Right. But think about this. Think about our founding fathers, right? How did they come up with this document that so far has addressed anything that could possibly happen to this country except this moment right here? There is nothing in the Constitution that addresses this. So how did they have the foresight to be able to put this document together for the founding of our country?
I want to say 2 possibilities: God-led or pre-planned.
Correct.
Or pre-planned, or both. It could be both. And I got to make a shameless plug right now, real quick, while everybody's in here. So again, thank you to Rosemary from Wisconsin for sending us now at $420, $750 giveaway for the Z Grill, the silver coins, which Tammy's got now, and Jeff's going to do 2 $100 for every $5 you spend on merch. It's an entry into the drawing. For every coffee that you guys send us, every $5 is an entry into that, and we're getting super, super close. So thank you to Rosemary for that $100 donation today. I really appreciate it. She messaged me and said it's in the mail. So thank you for that. And again, for every coffee that is sent tonight, I'm giving that to our producers because they work really hard behind the scenes to make this shit happen. So thank you for that. And March, the last week of March, and sometime Tammy and Jeff and I will come up with a date on when we're going to do that giveaway. And we've got 6 silver coins, Tammy, that now silver's up to, again, almost $100 an ounce. So for a $5 coffee, you win almost $100 silver coin. Or I think the grill that we're looking at is right around $700, $750. And when somebody wins that, I'll get their shipping information. I'll purchase the grill. I'll ship that to you. You're going to frickin' love it. And again, Jeff B., this is what we like to call in the LWN world reverse grifting. Would you not agree?
Yeah. Yeah. To all the detractors, this is reverse grifting.
And how are those tumblers coming along? Because I'm still waiting to drink out of one of those things.
They're well, I built a large office out of the house to where I can kind of separate myself a little bit from the business to let these guys do it. So I have them here. packaged up, and we're getting them out. Let's see, today's two. It should be out either tomorrow or Thursday, and they will be up in the merch store by this weekend.
Nice.
So
Sweet. Can't wait to see them.
But there, somebody had asked the question about Mike Flynn.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Great question.
I'm not sure what they're referring to, but I'm guessing his whole view on the whole digital soldier. I was told years ago that Mike Flynn is going to. I thought for sure when I was told Mike Flynn's going to play a pivotal part that he was going to be tapped as VP. I think he's playing some role inside of the continuity of government after Trump invoked the Insurrection Act, because I'll until I'm proven wrong, I think it's already been done. But I'll give. Oh, I got a text a few minutes ago about this outage that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So apparently we had a few aircraft in the air that were squawking 7700, which is an emergency squawk. So apparently we had some type of data hack that somebody, I'm guessing the Iranians, that would be my first guess, that we had some type of cyber attack, and it probably affected some of the intelligence gathering planes. But yeah, with Mike Flynn, I believe look, that I don't know how that guy went through what he went through and still has faith in this government. I really don't.
Remember the photo?
I don't think he does, though. I'm sorry, Tammy. I don't think he does. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tammy, but hasn't Mike Flynn, remember that letter that I read to the audience?
Yeah.
It was a few weeks ago that supposedly, and I don't know if this is for sure, but that came, what they thought came from Mike Flynn, which was, hey, the American people are tired of this shit. Mr. President.
Yeah,
please follow through and make shit happen, right, Tammy?
Yeah, he's saying that in 2026, his statement was make accountability great again. He's basically saying that the rights aren't stolen overnight. He's had it, and he's pressuring Trump and saying, hey, there's these different things that you can do. Let's get this done. And if you follow him on X, you know, he gives Trump for credit, saying he's working his tail off trying to get America great again. But it's the other people that aren't moving, or the crooked people, or whatever it is. But he's saying, Trump, pull all the cards you need to pull to get shit done. And he lays it out. So, you know, I don't know. He says, and he also said, this was recently, he said, if anyone gives you there's a national security threat, if we release the intelligence files line, they are lying to you from the get-go. We should not have or enable pedophiles in any aspect or part of our government, period. So he's saying things like that. He's like, right. You know what? Transparency. Let's just lay it out there, and it is what it is. So I think that Flynn seems to be on the up and up. That's just my opinion, though.
Well,
Tammy, make sure that you got the same notification that I just got, and let me know. Jeffy, here's my question. What about, because I saw the comment there in chat, and I want to address it real quick. What are your thoughts on Kash Patel?
I think Kash Patel was specifically put into this position because of the work that he did under Devin Nunes. He's ex-CIA. He was an aide to Devin Nunes. I myself, the people that I know that speak with him regularly, have full confidence in him. We're at a point in this where, you know, we think everyone's good or everyone's bad. You know, look how Donald Trump treated Marco Rubio during the presidential campaign. And now Marco Rubio is a absolute fucking rock star for the state.
Yeah, he is switched up. So it's either they're told to make the deal and they have to do this, or they really are on the up and up and they were playing bad before. Right. That's what I mean. It's so screwed up. It's like hard to figure it out.
Well, right. And all you have to do is go back and listen to the speech that Chris Miller made about how he and Mike Pence were involved in the biggest military operation known to man. And you would have thought with that type of statement that Chris Miller made to the vice president of the United States, the vice president would be beaming ear to ear, but Mike Pence looked like he saw Casper the fucking Friendly Ghost and no one would believe him. You know, because psychological warfare
is real. It's freaking
real. Absolutely, it's real because Trump wrote an executive order about it.
Don't forget.
Authorizing the military to use it.
Yeah.
And you don't know. Look, one thing I can tell you about the military, and anyone who's ever served in the military knows this. The military is the slowest operating machine known to man. But once you get that machine started, there is no going back. Once those orders are given, it's on like Donkey Kong. And I think once the order is made public, it's going to be a snowball.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to say this. Look at the comment on the screen there. Get ready to respond to it. Tammy, I'm going to you and everybody in the audience tonight. And if you're watching later on the replay, drop me a comment. Do you trust Kash Patel? And do you trust Mike Flynn? General Michael Flynn. I would like to get your comments there live in chat, replay. I'd love to see your comments. Tammy, the Hammer Nation, do you trust Kash Patel? Do you trust General Michael Flynn? And then I'm going to go to Jeff B with this comment on the screen there.
Okay, real quick, I got to thank a couple of people that bought us coffees as well tonight. Lori Confrey said, glad you guys are on and doing a great job. She bought us 3 coffees, or the producers. Thank you so much. And then Michelle Gale, also 3 coffees, said, thank you all for everything that you do to bring us these awesome live shows. We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Tammy. And I want to say this real quick before you answer a question.
Okay.
So all that money for the coffees tonight are going to my producers. Thank you to Lori and Michelle for those coffees tonight. Because like I said, I went to go live tonight. The updates were a total nightmare. The producer came in and worked their tail off to try to get me so I could join you guys live tonight. I couldn't even join you tonight because the audio was horrible. You can ask Jeff, you can ask Tammy. So all coffees purchased tonight is going to the producer to help pay them because they work their tails off and it's a thankless job. They don't make much from LWN because I give all this shit back to you guys because we love to do reverse grifting. So thank you guys for the coffees tonight. Tammy, do you trust Kash Patel? Do you trust General Michael Flynn?
Okay, Kash Patel, when it comes to him, I wanted to. I had faith in him so much. And when it came to the Charlie Kirk thing, it kind of flipped my tune when he said, I'll see you in Valhalla, buddy. And then nothing came with the Epstein files. We haven't even talked about Charlie or what's going on with that and all the people still supporting Turning Point, even though that's still a mess of what happened to him and his wife. But Kash Patel, no. Kash Patel, once again, to me, made a bunch of promises he didn't keep. There's nothing worse than over-promising and under-giving back. Michael Flynn has stayed steady all along. I have followed him all along. He's stayed the course, just like Trump. You can watch what he says back in the 70s and 80s to what he is now. He's never changed. So that's what I don't like about Kash Patel. Overpromise, underdeliver. Flynn, I trust because he's been steady and kept the course.
Okay. Jeff B., I'm going to come back to you. What are your thoughts on the comment that I had at the bottom of the screen?
With Cash and
No, it was
the fourth branch.
Yeah, we the people and the fourth whatchamacallit
Yeah,
there.
we are the final checks and balance. If our voting is safe and secure, we are the ultimate purveyor of our government. And the politicians knew that. That's why politicians on both sides of the aisle had to find a way to uproot the fourth branch and to basically steal what the American people wanted their country to be.
All right. Well, thank you for responding to the comment. We do try to respond to as many comments as we possibly can, folks. There's so many great comments. I try to put them up on screen. Tammy tries to put them up on screen. Our producer tries to put them up on screen. But there are so many. So if we don't get to you, it's not because we're not trying. It's just so much going on behind the scenes. And thank you guys again for those coffees. I'm sure that our producer appreciates it as well. Even though they can't hop in here and say thank you, I'm sure behind the scenes they're saying thank you. So where do we go from here, Tammy? You're driving the bus.
Well, that's it for me. If there's anything Jeff wants to cover that he hasn't got out, let's go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we can go into final thoughts.
Well, yeah, just with the last segment, do I trust Cash? Do I trust General Flynn? General Flynn, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think General Flynn was put in the Obama administration for a specific reason, and they found out what General Flynn was doing, and that's why he set him up. Do I trust Kash Patel? Absolutely. And the reason I trust Kash Patel is when I was going through the background investigation to get a top secret SEITK security clearance, my single scope background investigation, I didn't think they could get any more detail on my life. It took 9 months and I had zero in my background. But when I went and I had to get a caveat for whiskey clearance, which was access to the White House, they found out even more shit. I mean, they went back to my grade school teachers.
Wow.
So when I say the U.S. Secret Service is the premier law enforcement, they do more due diligence than anything. In order for me to even step into the White House, I basically felt like I had 30 doctors giving me a rectal exam. So they're not allowing anybody near the President of the United States that hasn't been thoroughly vetted.
Well, that's interesting with all the corruption. I hope they're all legit ones. That's for sure. Because that gives me pause. And I know it's supposed to work that way, Jeff, but I've lost trust in that because of so many people that have backstabbed Trump and came out against him, including Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out against him. And then it's like...
Well, here's the thing with that, Tammy. I had said a long time ago that I believe 99% of Congress is corrupt.
Right.
And when you put their back against the wall, when you're corrupt, you'll do anything to get your back away from that wall because you're a ticking time bomb. And I can see the scenario where Trump is going to go scorched earth. And
I hope so. I hope he does.
He has to. He has to. Look, Donald Trump, I think everybody can agree Donald Trump has a huge ego.
Oh yeah.
You don't get to where you're at by not having a huge ego. And guess what? Donald Trump does not want his legacy and his family's legacy to die on this hill. He has to go.
I hope not. I hope not. So let me ask both my co-hosts this question tonight because it popped up from Crystal. What are your thoughts about J.D. Vance? And I'll go to Tammy first and then Jeff B.
And I want to say thanks real quick to White Devil, who bought $15 or three coffees. And he said, thank you, producers, which is awesome. So White Devil, thank you for the coffees. Okay, J.D. Vance came out of nowhere. I like the idea that he seems like a good old boy. And I watched the story, the Hillbilly Elegy that was about his life. I love all that. And I thought, yeah, that's perfect. Get him in there. He's going to do a good job. He's going to be honest and good. But there's just something I don't trust about him yet. There's something off. I can't put my finger on it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong with all the stuff. But I just don't trust him right now. I'm not that impressed.
Jeff B., what are your thoughts on J.D. Vance?
Well, I can go back to where in 2016 Donald Trump made the selection for Mike Pence, and everybody thought that was a great choice. So did I. He deep-rooted, religious man. Everybody loved him for the most part. And then, I'm sent that audio file to where Clapper basically said J.D. Vance was involved in a coup and he was involved in sex trafficking when he was governor of Indiana, allegedly. So Trump put him in that position for whatever reason. J.D. Vance, I think, are we wrong about J.D. Vance? Me personally, J.D. Vance is nothing more than a figurehead and one heartbeat away from, the presidency. I believe he was picked for what reason? We may or may not ever know. But I can tell you this. I have a hell of a lot more confidence in J.D. Vance as VP than I did Joe Biden as president.
Yeah, that's
true. Very true.
What do you think, Tammy?
I can agree with what he has to say with that 100%. I don't even know what the Biden presidency was. I don't know what any of that was. That's just a mess. But now I can't even believe that was a thing. And then the whole mask thing, I'm like, oh my God. And there's more stuff coming out with those.
It's just constant. It's just a constant flow. So let me ask both my co-hosts this before we sign off tonight. Because Tin Ridge Runner, one of our very loyal viewers, somebody who's been with us for a long time. Love you, Tin Ridge Runner. It's kind of hard to say all of it once. So it's been nice here in Idaho for the last few days, and then all of a sudden it seems like winter just hit again. And I'm no fool to know. I'm not a scientist or meteorologist or anything like that, but I know that weather goes in cycles for sure. I believe the globe, the earth goes in cycles. But the question was, what are your thoughts on the weather on the East Coast? What are your thoughts in weather in general? And here's my question, and I already know what all of the comments are going to be.
Yes.
Do my viewers or anybody watching the replay, do you believe in weather manipulation? Tammy, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on the weather lately? And then Jeff B.
I think it definitely is being seeded and manipulated. I don't believe it's all for crops and growing like they say. There's plenty of videos out there of scientists and pilots talking about doing this. They're not sure what's in whatever they're spraying out, but I will tell you, this last round of the flu, which it wasn't, that I had, I still have the cough a little bit here and there. It was like nothing.
Here we go with the conspiracy theory. Let me put my tinfoil cowboy hat on.
And I'm telling you, it was foggy and it was nasty, and we had a pollution bad weather alert that really didn't make it till after the fact. It wasn't on the news or any of the notifications, and I was outside for those days that we had that. And that's when I came down with it. And not long after you, Mr. LW, said, "Oh, it's really foggy here. This is weird. This is unique." Did you and some of your family come down with the and I'm like, "Oh my God, it happened to you too." So I believe
nobody's been sick here, Tammy.
Oh,
Nobody.
you did. This was a while back. You forget. This was in January. You had it.
I think your old age. I think your old age is starting to really show its signs here, because we've had a couple of coughs. We haven't been sick.
You had it for 2 days. You took ivermectin for it. No,
are you drinking cough medicine by the gallon or what?
It is water. And a friend of yours was in bed with it. So don't tell me. Don't make me fool. I remember. Cowboy doesn't want to admit that he can get a little. He's got to just keep cowboying.
See what I have to put up with, Jeff?
This is what holidays are like at my house.
Sibling rivalry,
everything gets quiet and somebody does something to poke a bear and the bear goes nuts.
LW loves poking the bear. He doesn't like being the one that gets poked, but he likes poking the bear.
Well, my thoughts on this weather manipulation is, think about when all this we started seeing a change in the weathers when they defunded USAID. Look, yesterday it was so damn foggy here that it looked like we were getting hit with a blizzard.
Oh,
and what I think this is Mother Nature correcting herself, because we had 2 feet of snow, about 2.5 weeks ago, and it's just now melting. These are like the winters that I remember when we were kids.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you and Tammy both. And I'm sure the audience too. I'll ask you this, but there's videos all over the internet. Tammy, have you seen the videos where people have taken the snow from like Colorado and they hold a lighter to it and it won't melt?
Yes. It just.
What are your thoughts on that? In your dementia and your Alzheimer's that you have, do you think that that's like reality, or are you dreaming that up in your?
I think that I need to feed you some of that snow and see how well your belly does. How about that?
I make my beard grayer or whiter. What do you think?
Or it could turn it yellow.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you introduce chemicals into water and then it freezes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not one or two people out there on the internet burning all that. I mean, it's a lot of people across the country, and it's ridiculous. I mean, It's right in front of our faces. Ha ha. Somebody said I was spot on. It's not Alzheimer's there, LW. Please, Louise.
Just trying to help, Tammy. Just trying to help.
Yeah. No.
Well, why don't we go ahead and roll into final thought tonight? Because we're rolling up on 2 hours. It's been a wonderful time. And producers pulling up this video of the snow not melting. And we can play it real quick. If you want to play it, producer, go ahead and share it with the audience tonight. Like I said, all coffees bought tonight goes to the producer. They really worked hard to get us back online tonight. So here is one of the videos that they found real quick where the snow is not melting.
That's crazy.
Oh, I've seen lots more than this too. Like they hold a snowball up with a lighter and it won't melt. It's insane. Is this, Jeff B., is this the snow of when we were growing up in the 80s, or is this something completely different?
Oh, this is something completely different.
Yeah, you could eat the snow, play with the snow, make snowmen, all that, and it was normal. That stuff doesn't look normal even when it's on the ground.
No.
Yeah, if you guys eat the snow nowadays, you're gonna turn out like Tammy. So please don't eat the snow. Please don't eat the snow. We don't need more Tammys out there, please.
Look, when I was a kid, we were always, the only thing we were told is not to eat yellow snow.
Exactly. Exactly. And don't dig too deep and then pull up something brown because it's not chocolate. Do not eat that either. That's what we said.
Well, let's let the man of the hour, Jeff B, go first tonight with final thought. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. Thank you for the tumblers and all the merchandise that your company is providing for us. I know that a lot of people are happy out there with the products that they've received. I can't wait to get the tumblers. I got to do that shameless plug real quick because Jeff and his team work really hard. Veteran-owned company. If you guys want to support an American veteran and somebody who loves this country, support Jeff B by buying the LWN merchandise. It helps support the show, helps us pay our producers. It helps us with all the reverse grifting that we love doing here. So help us out by buying some of that wonderful merchandise. But Jeff B, what's your final thought tonight? And then I'll go to Tammy and the Hammer Nation.
Is that the Texas Longhorn shirt you're wearing?
It is. This is the Texas Longhorn
nice.
shirt.
Yep.
Yeah. And it turned out a lot better than you thought, huh?
It's badass. And these shirts fit really nice in my opinion. And the quality, top notch.
Yeah, so my final thought is I believe we are on the precipice of something very, very huge. And I have been saying for the long time it's going to be a drip, 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 and then a fire hose. I don't even think we're at the fire hose yet. So, you know, sometimes you have to take a break from it and let your mind settle and step away for a few days. Even I have to do that because I get so pissed off and scream at the TV. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that we are in very good hands, maybe not by the political establishment, but I believe the military has our best interest and the interest of the country at hand. And with that, I will bid you guys adieu, and you have a good evening.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
And my final thought is going to be, I really do hope I'm wrong on some things, but I don't believe we can know the truth about anything. You have to go with gut instinct, research, and everything else, but still, I don't know. It's been tough, and the midterms are coming up pretty soon. That's going to be pretty telling, but I want to see justice like anybody else. So I have no problem if I'm wrong on something and I would rather be wrong than be right, to tell you the truth. And I can handle that. You know, I do still have faith in the president. I mean, the man still looks good. How does he look this good? And I keep saying that, the energy, and he hasn't aged or anything. He's still the same. So maybe that is him knowing stuff, obviously, that we don't know. And that gives me optimism too. But I do have faith in our military as well. I don't believe our military would turn against us at all. So I still have some faith in there. It's just, I want to be real as well.
Well, my final thought is this. Deborah Shimko, longtime listener, great friend, been with us a very long time, and always supported this channel. God has the whole world in his hands. And I think that is a wonderful closing to tonight. Whether you're a believer or not a believer, I just believe that, you know, he's in control of a lot of this stuff, and we got to put the faith in him. And so, do I put my faith in one man? Absolutely not. But can he be God's soldier? Absolutely so. And I still think that there's a possibility, even if we get pushed into some real ugly situations, Tammy, in the next few months, maybe the midterms don't go our way. Maybe there's something that, you know, kind of fires off. Just say that. I think even over on the other side of that, and we talk about the other side all the time, I think there's a silver lining, gold lining to that. And I don't know what it is or how it gets there, but I still think that there's good times ahead. And I'm going to keep my faith in that. So thanks for joining us tonight. Tammy, thank you for producing this show. Jeff B., thanks for being here tonight. Producer, thanks for hopping in here and saving my ass. Again, all coffees bought tonight, even if you buy one later tonight, all goes to producer for bailing me out. And without them, honestly, I wouldn't have been here tonight because audio and everything was horrible. And they came in here and cleaned shit up for me. So I appreciate that. Love y'all. Tammy, I'm going to be back tomorrow night just for all you guys who are kicking out of here real quick. I plan on being back here tomorrow night for another show. So yes. God bless you. And wings. We'll
wings
we'll catch all the others. I'm trying, Tammy. I'm trying. Where the heck is it?
Oh, it's
where the heck is the wing?
Put them.
I can't find it. I can't find the.
Got Alzheimer's now.
You do it, Tammy.
I'll find it. It's easy to find. There.